Dave just came in and he said, it's raining in South Carolina. I said, is that code for something? Like, is there something? No.
The rooster crowed at midnight.
No, we're actually going to South Carolina. Dave says, it's raining.
Yeah, we road trip.
Yeah, that's right.
Driving through the whole damn state.
You all are in the party vehicle. I'm in the straight-laced vehicle.
Oh, no, you're not in the uniform.
The austerity plan.
The austerity vehicle so that I can eat my cod when I want to eat my cod. It's packed away back there. You should see my cooler.
Oh, I believe it.
Salt cod and 5 salads.
Salt cod, 5 salads,
And one pickle paddle.
One pickle paddle.
Kelly's kosher. He didn't even know it.
Listen, Chris Demm said it right. I'm standing at the doorway of Ocean Annie's at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
With a pickle paddle.
With a pickle paddle in
Who's
there.
up?
That's right.
Game?
That's black.
Anybody want to play?
Play the game.
So you can rush around.
That's right.
You want to be everywhere except for where you are.
That's right. I'll be in Savannah for 3 hours. Gone.
Where are you going? I don't know, but I'm going there.
You never checked into his hotel room.
That's right.
That's right. I don't need a hotel room.
I'm Kaiser Sose. I don't even exist. You have no idea. But he wasn't in the hotel. That's right. The shadow. I'm on the road.
Yeah.
I won't ride with the rest of you.
This would be a great time for you to kind of disappear.
Yes.
I mean, if one wanted to, this is how you do it,
This is
right?
the
During
time.
a planned business trip.
This is the time when you disappear, when you fake your own death.
Because the group is riding together, but you're not part of the group.
No, I didn't want to be. I'm like one of those guys that has to be separated on the movie set. It's like, I don't want to be part. I won't be
Your
part
own
of it.
trailer.
You know, exactly. One of those divas. You know, everybody else rides the same. Not me.
That's good. We didn't have room for you anyway.
And well, it used to be that, like the Yankees, it was like 25 guys, 25 cabs. Remember they used to say that because they had no camaraderie at all. This group has great camaraderie except for one. He will not be part of it.
You're not a comrade.
No, not a comrade. Yesterday, here's an update. Yesterday, we talked about, this is about celebrities. Sylvester Stallone said that the one regret he had in his movie-making career was...
Cobra.
No. No.
Should be Cobra.
No.
Rhinestone.
No. It wasn't as specific as that. No. He did most of his own stunts. And now he says he has such terrible joint pain, leg pain. He's had to go through surgeries. He's messed up his knee a few times because he did those stunts. And they would say to him, Sly, we got a guy that can do this. And he said, no, I want the authenticity of doing my own stunts. So he did them, and now he's got... Like his back is in terrible pain.
Sure.
Yeah. And he's in his, mid-70s now, I guess, Sylvester Stallone. So he says, I wish I had gone back and I would have done some of them, but let the real pros do some others because he'd been injured on movie sets. Now, there's another story today about Russell Crowe, and he made the movie Robin Hood in 2010. And Crowe says, I wanted to do all my own stunts.
I don't think I've ever seen that one. It's the gritty one, right?
It's real gritty. It's not great.
Not a good movie?
No, I think Jamie Foxx is in it with him.
Really?
Is he Little
Yeah,
John?
I think Jamie Foxx plays Little John.
Who's made Marion?
I don't know. It's been forever. I saw it once.
The one with Kevin Costner wasn't that good.
Oh, no, it isn't.
It was terrible, really. It was
But it
bad.
had way more viewers, I think.
It was such a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
They made it. Brian Adams had that great song. Isn't that Everything I Do It For You?
Oh, God. Is that from that?
I think
There was
so.
a few hits from that soundtrack, I believe.
I'll tell you what. When I heard the Brian Adams song,
You're not going to play it, are you?
Everything I Do It For You. You darn right I'm going to play it. When I heard that song for the first time, I remember where I was.
Crying in the theater as the lights came up?
Oh, I've told you this.
Alone?
Oh, I've told you this too. Yeah, the credits started rolling, and I began crying furiously, even though I didn't like the movie. This Brian Adams song to me was like, this is everything you want to say to a woman but can't. Everything I do it for you. And then some guy I work with said, do you think those...
at the pop radio
Yeah,
station?
the pop radio station. Said, do you think those lyrics are literal, like every time he takes a dump, he does it for her?
That's the top 40 radio.
So why do you ruin...
I won't be a part of this.
I said, why do you ruin something like that? He
He's pouring his heart out.
Yeah. He goes, you think every time, like he sticks his finger up his nose, he does it for her.
Puts gas in his car.
Right. Passes gas. I was like,
Touches himself.
That's what he says. He's like, you think every time he like jerks it.
Everything.
I was like, you're ruining it. Obviously not. That movie was not that good. I didn't care for the Kevin Costner movie. Now, Russell Crowe made Robin Hood in 2010, and he said, I wanted to do all my own stunts. So, in one of them, I had to jump off a piece of a castle onto a rock-hard, uneven ground that was stones and uneven. And he said we should have prepped the ground and buried a soft pad, but they were in a rush to film because we had fading light and they had to get the scene shot. And I knew as I jumped, and I was jumping some 15 feet onto rock hard, uneven ground. And as
This is going to be bad.
he said, I literally thought, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he said it was like an electric shock going through my entire body. I had so much pain in my legs and lower back, but we got the scene. I got up. I said, okay, I'm okay. I hobbled off to my trailer. I slept for the night. We continued filming the movie. We were on a very tight schedule. 10 years later, he's at a physical, and the doctor says, how'd you break your legs and when? He said, I don't know. And I know it was in that moment. He said, both of your legs have had fractures, and you just worked right through it.
Wait a minute.
That's right. That's right.
Did Russell Crowe say this on a podcast? Hold everything.
I could see this from him.
It's too fantastical.
You don't believe him.
No, it's embellished.
He said he got x-rays for the first time 10 years later, and the doctor said, I see you've had old fractures to your legs that were never properly healed.
I could see this because this reminds me of something Chris Kelly would do. Here's the stunt double. Nope.
No.
I shall do it. You know, if you're not a professional and jumping onto that, you'll probably break your legs. I'll do it.
I'll do it for you.
Do it. Everything I do.
I do it for the movie.
I do it for you. That's right. That's right.
I don't know. It sounds like he had a blind doctor.
The doctor said, "What? No, don't you think if that really happened, I'm
Break
sure
both legs?
I don't think they broke like broke. I think they probably were, cracked.
What do they call them? Hairline
Hairline
fractures?
fractures, I'm sure is what it was.
Well, that may be.
He says apparently he could see fractures in both shin bones. That's what he told me. And he said the doctor told me this probably at least 10 years ago. And he goes, oh, I
Robin
remember.
Hood.
I know.
Crikey.
Robin Hood
Yep.
jumped down on that uneven stone ground, those cobblestones, and that's what did it.
Usually, if you watch movies, and we all of us in this room, we like watching movies. You rarely see people land, and that's why.
Is that
because they
right?
land on pads. You see people jumping, and then you'll see a cut, and then they'll show like the stuntman landing. Or you don't actually see like when stuntmen get shot and fall off a building.
Because they're pads.
They don't land. You don't see them landing because they're landing on a pad or an air mattress.
You know that, so I don't even realize you don't see them land.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you're enjoying the magic of the movies.
That's what they want.
Well, they got it from me. I never realized that. So it's like the magician's tricks. I never know how they're doing it. I never know.
But you're good in a crowd. People, magicians like that.
Well,
I always need a patsy.
Don't
We don't say,
Don't let
I
them do
don't
that
like
to
the
you.
word.
Not-
I like the word.
not on
I don't
a
like
day
the
like
word. I
this.
don't like the word patsy. I'm going to bring this up on my podcast.
don't let them distract you.
I'm not.
Because the rest of the day, and especially on that long drive, you're going to be like, Patsy, Patsy, Patsy.
You're right. I'll be gripping the steering wheel
All by
harder.
yourself.
And the party van will be in front of me, and I'll see all the celebration coming from. I'll be following the party van.
Puffs of smoke coming out the window. Big gulp cups flying out the window.
BB Shea mooning you. That car is a mooning you.
Yes, that's what's going to happen later today. Russell Crowe said, I finished that movie with 2 broken legs for the art, for the work. I had no cast, no splints, no painkillers.
No painkillers?
He said I had
Come
no
on.
painkillers.
You know he was in pain the next day.
He said, I was in terrible pain the rest of the shoot, but I went through it and did it. And over time, I guess those legs just healed themselves.
Well, they do.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, but the doctor said, I see you've had a couple of. Now, I can see that. Because some people go and they say, somebody will say, well, you broke your toe. And he's like, well, no, I didn't. You know, how people will do that sometimes.
I read a really funny Sylvester Stallone story yesterday. For whatever reason, before my mom passed away, we were taking care of my parents' bill paying because they were unable to. So we still, like once a year, I'll get a magazine addressed to my mom. In this case, it's People Magazine. They're trying to get her to subscribe. So, I tossed away the invoice, but read the magazine, and it was an obituary for Carl Weathers.
Oh, yeah.
And Weathers was talking about how he got the job as Apollo Creed on the first Rocky movie.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, he said he'd been acting, I think, for 2 years or about a year and a half when he auditioned for it to play Creed. And he was told, his agent said, well, you're going to play the part of this boxer, this flamboyant heavyweight champ, and you're going to be auditioning with the screenwriter, who is Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's right. He wrote them.
But Weathers didn't know that.
Right, okay.
He didn't know that he was playing the lead.
Okay,
That
okay.
Stallone was both writer and actor.
Right, yeah.
And he said the audition went terribly. And at the end, Weathers said, look, that was terrible. Get me in here with a real actor, and I'll show you what I can do.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
boy.
evidently, Stallone liked the moxie.
Yeah.
He said that's what the character would have said.
That's
and he
awesome.
got the job.
Well, he was perfect.
I know.
He was perfect for that role. I always heard too they loved it because both those guys are fairly short and they're the same height.
Yeah.
So they made you didn't know what the height they were.
You don't know
the same
how
height.
small they are
Correct.
in the ring.
Then years later, of course, when he's playing Rocky IV against Drago, that guy's tall because they wanted to make him look bigger
Like a monster.
than Rocky, and they did. Media guy Craig will know something about stunts and the Russell Crowe stunt. Go ahead, media guy Craig.
Well, talking about guys jumping off of things, one of the cinematic trick that I think the James Bond films invented was in the wide shot, you see the stuntman coming off of a high thing, and then he drops down behind boxes. And then in this case, Sean Connery pops up suddenly from behind the boxes and takes off all in the same shot. And you think Sean Connery did the whole stunt.
Yeah, I see that.
Good trick.
The boxes, they are in several movies, and then they'll come out of the boxes. That's right.
Or landed in a dumpster. A lot of times people land in dumpsters.
In dumpsters. It's
Because you
true.
can pad those things up.
It's true. Do you believe that story about Russell Crowe? You think he broke both his legs and went on continued filming?
Well, at the risk of sounding like a Russell Crowe myself, I actually broke my arm and carried on for about 4 months with a broken arm, not realizing until something made it worse. And it was a hairline. So, yeah, I think maybe he could have and just chalked it up to knee pain or some kind of, chronic pain that he had.
Yeah, I can see it too. Now, not a break. If you break your leg, but a hairline fracture, I think is what happened.
People do it. That insurance lady walked around like a walrus for a week, didn't she?
That woman.
Before she'd go to the hospital.
To me, that's been the best meeting of this whole year.
Because she didn't want your rates to go up.
When you think about this year, and you will.
Yes. This was the woman came to sell us insurance. And she said to us when we were getting our insurance, whatever you do, don't go to the emergency room.
Some of y'all need to die.
Right. Now, some of you are not going to be here next year at this meeting, but don't go to the emergency room. They charge you too much money. She said, for instance, I was hanging something on a ladder, fell off the ladder, broke both my feet. But this was on a Sunday. My husband said, let me get you to the emergency room. She said, are you out of your mind?
Drag me inside.
He dragged her to the bed. She laid down. She slept. The next day, alarm goes off. She gets up. She crawls to the car. She gets in.
On her elbows
on
only.
her elbows only.
Army style.
Yes. Drives herself over to the Minute Clinic and takes care of it there. They said, my God, you've broken both feet. She said, that's right.
I know. You're right.
That's right.
I feel it.
That's
They're broke.
how you do it.
Save the company money.
Save the company money. Exactly. This is the another update now. 2 updates. One, and this is, I guess we're going to have to make this official. We reported on this also last year. Bobby, a dog from, I want to say Portugal. Yes, a Portuguese dog named Bobby was certified upon his death in October of last year, the oldest dog to have ever lived at the age of 31. The owner had the proper paperwork, he said, and it was registered with Guinness. Now, they've done a review, and Guinness has stripped Bobby of that title, saying the paperwork was not sufficient after all, and they cannot verify that Bobby was actually 31 years old. So posthumously, he has been taken out of the top spot.
He lived in Portugal, or he's a Portuguese dog?
He lived in Portugal.
All right.
And so they did. Now, the owner says, I can prove he was born May 11th, 1992, and now they've said, no, you can't. So that dog is no longer the oldest to have ever lived. Too bad. He had a lot of fanfare last year, and now he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, how do you prove it? What's the papers? I mean, do you have to have national...
Unless it's a registered breeding dog, right?
Yes, that was it. He said he had enough, but Guinness, on second thought, said,
King and Queen have puppies across the street, and one of them wanders up to your porch. You don't know.
you don't
That's
know
right.
when they were born.
We don't know when our cats were born.
No, you don't. We know ours. We know our...
Do you?
Our dog is... Our dog
Well, your dog has got papers.
Yeah.
We got papers on our dog.
It's booty cute.
I don't like to talk about it. We've got papers on our dog. Anonymous. We celebrate her birthday every year, by the way.
I know you do.
She's December, I want to say the 11th. Okay,
No.
Anonymous.
Better figure it out.
You know, you're talking about broken legs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a broken leg story that I'm hoping my wife's not hearing this and recognizing my voice.
Mhm.
The several years ago, I broke my leg by jumping off a deck, and it was a compound fracture, and that's the fracture that is. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's a pylon fracture. That's right before the compound. It didn't come out of the skin, but it was severely broken. There's no walking on it. I had to be carried to bed and 2 surgeries.
Ooh.
But that happened at about 10 o'clock at night, and I got helped upstairs and was in the bed, and I had to go to the doctor the next day, and it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But that night, as I'm laying in the bed, one thing led to another, and my wife and I closed the deal with me in a broke leg. I mean, and I hardly ever get to tell this story because it's so private, but I've heard these stories that you guys are telling, and I have had intimate relations with my wife with a pylon fracture. It has been done.
My friend, I want you to say your name.
Oh, yes.
I want you to please say your first,
Climb a
middle, and
mountain
last name.
and yell it at the top of the
You
mountain.
must.
Your address. Your
You
social.
must, you must say this.
Today you are our king.
I cannot.
Incredible.
Can we ask what led you to jump off the deck at 10 o'clock at night?
You can. I have at that time teenage boys, and my oldest son and I were playing, and he would, it's kind of like an aggressive game of tag. Well, he hit me or smacked me on the butt, and I took off chasing him, and he jumped off the deck. And the deck's not that high, but at the angle that he jumped, he didn't think his old man would follow. Well, I knew better, and I showed him, yes, I will follow you. Well, I landed very stiff-legged, and it was instantaneous, and it was extremely painful. The doctor said it's very similar to a car crash, the way that it was broken. And I had multiple surgeries. It was very excruciating. But
Wait, in that much pain.
And your wife said, I've never wanted you more.
The way you played tag tonight.
Back to the bedroom.
God, how did you do it in that much pain?
She had to do it.
That's incredible.
She had to be on top and then do the mounting.
Yes.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. My participation was bare minimum. I was laying on my back.
Oh.
That was all I could do, but it happened. And the thing about it is, she and I will mention this from time to time, but I've never been able to really talk about it because it's so personal. So why not call into a radio station and tell everybody? Right?
Yes. You should say your name and her name and your kid's name.
No,
and all.
no way.
And your
No
address,
way.
and show us the bed
No
it
way.
happened in.
You are amazing.
We all want to jump off that
You
wall
are
now.
incredible.
I want to jump off something. Let's go jump on something.
Fantastic.
Deck jumper.
Thank you, Anonymous, for that call. And Russell Crowe, come on.
Yeah.
Russell, you nothing. This guy has got you in every way. Thank you so much. What a story. My God.
Yeah.
Woo. He gets the Dave Aiken Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, no kidding,
Incredible.
man.
That's right.
Incredible.
I'm down on one knee.
Well done.